sense,
And it's
Piers.
interesting,
And
what you said about meritocracy there. There's a move now for the Oscars and the Academy and the way they go about, putting nominations forward, that they have to tick a load of diversity boxes. And that all sounds fine in principle, right till you get to the point where actually it damages meritocracy.
and not only that, Pierce, I'm sure you've also heard that someone should not play, for example, you shouldn't play a gay part if you yourself are not gay. So what does that mean then? Sir Anthony Hopkins should not have played a sadistic serial killer in Silence of the Lambs because clearly he's not really a serial killer. It's insane.
Well, not as far as we know. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, who plays Hitler? Who plays a mafia boss, right? Does everyone in The Sopranos have to actually be an active member of the mafia? I mean, and also it never works the other way with these wokies, where you never hear them say, and of course the quid pro quo is that no gay person can play a straight part. They'll never say that. They want all their virtue signaling cake and eat it.
Exactly. And, to your point earlier about victimhood, I come from Lebanon. I escaped execution in Lebanon. And it's folks like me who come to the West who are, completely befuddled by all of the whining. I think you were mentioning to your previous guest about him whining. I despise whining. What's beautiful about Messi and Ronaldo is this, notwithstanding their innate talent, they work hard to be the best that they can be. We need to return to that ethos.
Yes, we need to start celebrating proper talent, proper work ethic, people who really want to put a shift in. I mean, the work from home fiasco in this country is getting completely out of hand with millions of people just basically giving up doing proper work. It's interesting you talk about professors there, because I think my favourite story of all the cancel culture stories involved an American professor who for 25 years had given a lecture about offensive language. And eventually a student complained about his use of offensive language in a lecture about offensive language. And he was fired for using offensive language, which he had used to illustrate the points he was making about offensive language. And at that point, I realized universities are being run by students, and the students, because of this warped mindset, are just running riot on campuses, and the campuses and the people put in charge of these students are just caving to every one of their whims and saying, okay, whatever you say goes.
Indeed. And look, I can tell you, just past semester, I was teaching an MBA class where I was talking about the evolutionary roots of anorexia nervosa. And in that lecture, I talked about miscarriages. And one student huffed and puffed that I did not provide trigger warnings before mentioning something as, devastatingly sensitive as miscarriages. And this is someone, me, who went through the Lebanese civil war. So imagine how much disdain I feel for such an adult, an MBA student, that he requires me to offer trigger warnings before mentioning a medical reality such as miscarriages. It's unbelievable.
Well, I actually need trigger warnings before I find myself in close proximity to one of these woke imbeciles, because it actually does bring me out in wheels. Gad, I could talk to you all night about this. I'm glad we've made up and we're friends again.
Thank you so much.
Please come back on Piers Morgan Uncensored again. I really enjoyed the chat.
You're the best, and my apologies to Arsenal. Next year, they'll take it.
You know what? I'm not so sure. Mentally weak. They should have signed Ronaldo when they had the chance back in October. He wanted to come. Anyway, that's another story. Gad, great to talk to you. Thank you very much.